Alright, good morning. Let me just turn this down a touch. Do let me know how the music volume is. It's really hard to try and work out what it's like on the other end. Alright. So today I'm going to be eventually looking at implementing what are they called? Adaptive groups into toast notifications. In fact, let's show a little picture of what they look like from the docs. So, adaptive groups are these things here. I guess, strictly speaking, if you want to look at the schema itself, these are subgroups. This is a adaptive group in general. So effectively it's a way of showing some condensed information in a post notification. It's also the only place where text styles actually seem to work. So you'll notice this 52 attendees here has a base style. This one has a caption style, caption subtle style, and these two have a text alignment. So those styles, if I remember correctly, set my language. Those styles are actually available in BurntToast now. Say style. They're already built in. Problem is, they don't actually do anything without the adaptive groups. So really, in theory, all we've got to do is actually add the groups part of it, because then what you add to those are text and images, and funnily enough we've already got those. But the first thing I want to do, because I've got music on stream today, is I want a now playing ticker. So I am using the Music Bee app. And the Music Bee app has a plugin called Now Playing that drops some information into a folder. So of interest here is we get the cover work, the cover artwork. There's this thing called primary backdrop as well, and then there's a tags text file. That text file is a tab delimited CSV, effectively. And I've got going into there the artist, album year, and the track title. This other one, artwork backdrops, is a list of pictures. So it is, I believe what it's doing for a given artist is picking the primary one, which I'm pretty sure is just the top one from this list, but there are a bunch of other ones it could pull from. So we've got a lot we could use for a toast notification to show what's playing. We've definitely got all the information we need at any rate. So, I'll put that over there out of the way. Right. So, first let's plan out what our now playing toast is actually going to look like. So, title of it is just going to be, say, now playing. And then what we'll try and do is have artist, then album, then title. I guess that means we need to actually get the information. So that file is tags.txt sitting in this directory, D music B on my D volume. It was tags.txt. Now, it's tab delimited, so if we try and import this at the moment, we're not going to get much of anything. If we set the delimiters to the tab symbol, just in case you haven't come across this before, if you're using the backtick T to represent a tab, excuse me, you do need to put double quotes around it, not single quotes, otherwise it won't actually turn into a tab character. So now if we run this, we don't get much of anything again. So what we also need to do is specify the headers, because that file doesn't have any. So again, we've got title, album, year, and artist, title, year. One more try. It is 5:10 in the morning. Album, artist, album, year, and title. And I'll leave that open this time so I can actually see. Right, so that should give us something. There we go. So now we've got an object with the information we're looking for sitting nicely inside it. Which means artist, right, and for this one, what is the easiest way? Let's go like this. Let's make sure album string has what I want in it. It doesn't know. Oh, because I didn't actually. There we go. So this F operator adds whatever is in this first position after it into the 0 slot here between the curly braces, and then again for the number 1 in curly braces is this one, and that gives me the output of the album name and in brackets what year that album came out. So, and the reason why I'm doing that is so that I don't have to go like variable plus whatever plus the variable plus the other closing bracket. To my eye it reads a lot better, especially for longer strings. I can certainly see how it would be a pain. And the last one was title. You're going to need a logo for this. I'll use the BurntToast logo. So that gives us, in theory, depending on where we're running this, a couple of different paths. So sorry, I'm getting BurntToast. I only want one of them. And module base. So the module base tells me the path to that module. Good. And now I know if I go there that there is an images folder, and in there is the BurntToast. Actually, there's a BurntToast logo, but what I'm going to use for my app logo is the actual photo. So, we have was a PNG. So if we join path on that, that should give us the full path. Cool. Right, so we create a new image, or a new BT image. And this is going to specifically be a app logo. So it just occurred to me that I might be able to make that easier for people. This whole app logo or hero image. internally. No, I don't. Well, sorry. Now I'm running off on a tangent because it would require rebuilding the image object at runtime, which is probably doable. Anyway, that's something for another day. This is a app logo override, and when we have a toast, you'll notice that the default is for that to be cropped into a circle. That was a specific choice on my part. The default's actually, I was about to say the default's a square, but I don't know if it is. Let's see if we can find that out together. So this doc here is on, in fact, let me drop it into chat in case anybody wants to follow along. This doc here is the full toast content schema. I'm not sure if it tells us what. Yeah, default. Okay. So if I look for adaptive image, so crop is not required. Huh. I would have to assume, based on the language here, if the value for image crop is default none or circle, one assumes that none, so that's effectively a square, is going to be the default because you have to apply a circle to it, whereas none should just be normal. At any rate, I'm going to add a crop, and it's going to be a circle, funnily enough. And because these toasts are coming up to tell me about music, BT audio. Silent. So because the toasts are coming up to tell me about music that's playing, I don't want them to make their own noise and then mute the music for a bit. And if you've ever seen any of my demo code where I have, say, audio 1, visual 1, text 1, 2, 3, whatever, the reason why I'm always adding those ones, even if there is only one of them, is because some of the object types in a toast notification clash with system variables. I'm forgetting. I think action might be one of them. In fact, is it? At any rate, I've run into issues without adding those ones, or just using completely different variable titles like this, which resulted in my toast just not working at all. It didn't even fall back to defaults. So yeah, I always add the one just to be safe. So with that, got all my strings, got my app logo, got my audio. Now we bind them together. BT binding. our title. And the order you put the order you put your strings in here against children is the order they'll show on the toast themselves. And the first one is the title that shows up bold and big. So without those subgroups that I looked at right at the start of the string, that is your only way of controlling the style of the text. Oh, and I need my app logo, which needs a variable. Right, so getting the music info, creating all my text stuff, creating my app logo, making it silent, binding it. So the new BT visual, where we add our binding. Then define our content. And then we submit that content. Man, that is getting a little convoluted writing all that out. Anyway, when we run this, we get an error. What did I do? What did I do? Oh dear, yes. So what I've done is passed in my album string here, which is just a string, directly into my binding. And that's not allowed because it's meant to be a, what shows down there, toast binding generic child, of which text is a specific type. So that's why we pass it through new BT text. So of course that causes everything else to fail. Anyway, rerun that again, we get our toast notification. Whoops. I've called title twice. That title, well, I see where my mind was. Need more coffee. So, I wrote title here because I was thinking this is the title of my toast notification. And then this title because it's the track title. This one can be header. Now let's try that again. But you'll notice we're getting the title. Oh, sorry. We're getting the heading, now playing. We're getting the artist, the album, but our title's not showing there. And I'm not 100% sure why that's happening. Because in theory, you're meant to be able to have up to 5 children. In fact, we can test that by going like this. Something fishy's going on here. Right. I'll make a note to look at that. But there's something in the back of my mind telling me that 5 was the magic number for children. Binding children, not children. At any rate, we know we're missing the title off of this. So, what I propose is that we go with bumping the title up. In fact, I'm just going to do this here for the sake of it representing what we're going to do. So we'll still have the now playing header, then we'll have the track title, and then we'll change this to be album info, and this will now go something like this. 1, 2. And I'll put the artist in position 0. So now it will be artist dash album and then in brackets the album year. Album info there. So now down here we can put you there, you there. So now it's heading, title, and album info. Meaning we don't need that. Oh no, we do need that. What did that? Oh, I did it again, didn't I? Naughty. Now, see track title, artist, album, yeah, good. Okay, but that's looking a little boring. So I'm thinking we can add a hero image to this. Now if I bring back up that folder, we have the artwork. We've also got this backdrop, but the backdrop for me hasn't ever changed. For all of Bureaucratic's songs, tracks, that's remained the same. This is cycling between 4 of them because I've got 4 different albums on loop. So I'm thinking we grab the cover art. And this is in D, music B, cover artwork. Now, with images, we have 2 options. We can either show it inline, which actually shows it under all of the text, or we could make it a hero image, which shows really big across the top of the toast. So I want to make I hope to make a bit of a feature out of it. So let's go with hero image, and we add that here, hero image. And the reason why I say I hope to is because I already know what the outcome of this is going to be. In that there is a maximum height for the hero image, and that does already look a lot better. But there is a maximum height for the hero image, and unfortunately it crops towards the top, which often means I end up missing the say album title that's printed on the cover, or the main focus of it, which in this case is the beat sitting on the pavement at the bottom. So what we can do instead of a hero image is put it in line, which involves adding it to my list of children. Now it shows in full, although nowhere near as big, down the bottom. Yeah, that works. We might be able to make that slightly bigger by going remove margin. I have a feeling this will be marginally bigger. I can't even tell a difference. One thing is though, that was way too fast. You would have to be actively watching the stream and not just idly having it on another screen to pick that up. So duration, I knew it was there. If I change that to long, sorry, that's duration on my content. If I set that to long, it should stay up now for 20 seconds. Wow, that does end up pretty big on stream, doesn't it? Good. Cool. So that's the toast itself, which I'm happy with. But obviously I can't sit here and F8 that all the time. So what we're going to have to do is trigger that toast notification whenever, whenever the track changes. So we know that that plugin in MusicBee is updating the tags.txt file. So we will use that to create a file system watcher event that fires whenever this file changes. So a couple of things we need. We need the path that we're watching, which is that MusicBee directory. Now, if you just left it at what the folder was, it's going to trigger the event on any file changes in there. And the cover artwork does change between tracks as well. So we'll limit it to just that tags.txt file. So we're diving into .NET here a little bit. File system watcher. That's not what I want. Won't autocomplete for me. Alright. System dot io dot. Oh, now I'm getting him. File system watcher. And my argument list in order is the path to watch. Did it actually pop up what the arguments were? No, unfortunately. Actually, if I did it this way, it might. No, that IntelliSense doesn't help. Right. Anyway, the first argument is the path to watch. My second argument is the file filter. So that's going to tell this file system watcher object to watch that, but only, well, the result of putting this in is only this file, but it's saying any files that match that filter. So now I need a, well, that's the object itself that's watching that file. Now we need to do something with the events that it generates, and we do that by registering a object event. The object being that file system watcher. And the event we're worried about, in fact, you can see the events. If I actually have everything there. So a little hint if you're ever looking for events on an object. If you pipe the object into getMember, you'll get the events. So I want when the file is changed. If you were using this for something else, you could say created, deleted, renamed even. But for us, changed. Event name is changed, and then what I do when that event fires is run an action, and happily enough we've already written an action. Wrong button. Tap. Now I have a feeling I know what's going to happen when we call all of this. In fact, I know exactly what's going to happen when we call all of this, but we still didn't know. So, of course, right off the bat, nothing happens. But if I skip to the next track, instantly we get a, and of course the start of this track's really quiet. Let's go to another one. Now what we're seeing is we're getting multiple toasts. And it would appear that MusicBee is editing that file in quick succession. It's possible that when it's writing out this file, it's doing 1 tag, 2 tag, 3 tag, 4 tag, and potentially multiple times, because I counted 6 notifications there. So we definitely don't want that. think I've remembered how to unregister that event. In fact, quick check, skip track. No toast. Good. So one thing I do want to do, first of all, before we dive into accidentally getting it multiple times, is I do want to sleep it for a second. Basically, I don't want the toast to show up the second that the track changes. I want it to wait a bit, and unless it's a really slow intro, show when the music is actually kicking in, not bang on the transition. It also potentially gives a bit of time for the plugin to sort itself out with that text file before we actually read it. So, how to stop it firing multiple times? I am going to do something naughty. I'm going to be running this off in a different terminal anyway. I am going to say declare a global variable, and the only reason I'm doing that is because I'm not sure of the variable leakage between an event firing in here, or an action firing inside the event and here, so I'm using global just to be safe. And up here we'll only fire the toast if, okay, let me test something. If I pause, the text file goes completely blank. If I try and import that, we'll end up with an object with all of those headings but null values under them. And no. What we would end up with is a string that literally looks like this. Would end up with that string there, and would end up with a toast that looks a little weird. So I want to avoid that by saying only fire the tweet, and let's get this right. Only fire off a toast if there is a title, i.e. it's not null, and that title doesn't equal whatever the last global title was. Alright. Now, if it doesn't equal that, meaning it is a unique notification coming through, we do need to update our last title to be the new title. So let's read through that again. Global, yeah, you know that works. Sleep for a second, cool. Only fire if it's got a title and the title wasn't the last one. Update the last one. Yeah, that should work. So let's skip tracks. We get our toast. Good. And in theory, I dismiss it. And we only have the one toast. Awesome. So that's working, but I don't actually wanting it. I don't actually want it running from code. So I will save this though into so the normal name for the thing that shows what track you're playing on a stream is called a music ticker. Let's call this music toaster. So that is on my PowerShell depot repo. Let me pull up a link to it. That is in there. So if you happen to want to check out that toast, I'll just pop the link in the chat. And if I head over there, right, so in theory, I guess I did put a space in that title, didn't I? So, now sitting in this PowerShell session, it's good timing, we're a couple of seconds away from a track change. I think by mousing over it. Sorry, I'm counting how long it takes to disappear. I think by mousing over it, I reset the 20-second counter. Yeah. So that should have only been on screen for 20 odd seconds. Not, what was it, 40 odd. Alright, I'm going to assume that's because I accidentally moused over it. At any rate, wow, that took longer than I expected. So we might not get into too many other use cases, but we can certainly start looking at adaptive groups. Now, let me grab that documentation again. In fact, we've got two to look at. Let's get that over here. Like this. Look at that. We have adaptive content. So in this documentation, the one for toast content, it's under columns and text elements thing, and I guess that's technically what a group does. So we've got 2 columns in a group. And it shows you how to do this in C#, which, cool. And the resulting XML. Also cool. If we look at the schema, we can see that there is for adaptive group. Also, this was from the anniversary update several years ago now. Far out, that time's gone fast. So I jotted down in my OneNote where I keep, hey, this is what I want to do with BurntToast notes. While this was in the insider build to implement it. So it's been sitting there for a while. So adaptive group itself has one property, which is children. So I'm not going to expose that. I'm not going to expose this. All I'll do is ask for a collection of subgroups. And the subgroups have three what's the word I'm looking for? The subgroups have 3 properties on them. Children, which is your list of adaptive elements going into them, either text or image. A weight. Right. And I'm assuming control the width of the subgroup column by specifying the weight relative to other subgroups. So I'm assuming that higher number wins. I guess we can experiment with that. And then there's also text stacking, which is the vertical alignment. So if we look at text stacking there. That is default top, center, bottom. Sure. What is the default? I really like how non-committal these defaults are. Oh, it's up to the renderer. Yeah, that helps me. And yeah, so those subgroup children are either text or image. So funnily enough, we've already dealt with text and images today. Just obviously outside of a group. So I don't think that these will be too famous last words. I don't think these will be too difficult to get going. Question is, what do I want to call it? So, on the naming front, this text object here on new BT text is technically adaptive text. Image is technically adaptive image or app logo or hero image. Semantics. Header. Okay, apparently I didn't put that in. But what I'm getting at is they're actually adaptive image, but I only called them image. For these things, I could call them group, I could call them adaptive group, but I'm wondering if from an end user perspective it would be more descriptive of what they are or what they do if I call them columns. So how that would manifest in BurntToast is there would be a new BT column commandlet. Group seems weird, especially when metadata on a notification has a group property. So I'm ruling group out. That leaves my options as adaptive group or column, and I'm leaning towards column unless anyone watching jumps in chat and goes, no, that's a stupid idea. But at any rate, we can change the name, that's no issue. It's a nice simple, yeah, this isn't too bad. Well, when did my caps lock turn on? What did I say? Column. Don't add the PS one. There we go. Alright, I will close the comment-based help because I will worry about that later. My output on this is adaptive subgroup. Let's do it up here. What was it? Toolkit UWP. Notifications dot. Cool, right at the top of the list, adaptive group. Good. Just wanted to make sure it wasn't hiding under some other branch of the UWP toolkit. Yes, we will support should process eventually, just not right away. Now, what did I say? Three properties. Pop this over on my other screen so I don't have to keep covering the code. I am going to leave the old parameter help there, and I'll fix it later because no one needs to see me struggle through writing that out. So we've got children. Actually, how have I done this before? Where will I have done this? Under content. Actions. Yeah, so I put that there. And why am I not seeing? Oh, because it's not content, it's binding. iToast binding generic children. That's very close to what I need here. Except what I need this time is copy and paste it from the docs. Adaptive subgroup child. Alright. I could leave that alias there. Don't know if it has any value. And interestingly enough, looking at the docs, adding children isn't mandatory. And I guess that's so that you can put a blank column in if you need to. Sure, that makes sense, I guess. The next property is hint weight. Let me check. I believe when there's a, say, hint wrap, hint align, wrap, align, yeah, don't put the hint in. So this is weight, and then we've got, it says text stacking. Yeah, let's stick with text stacking. And that is all of our properties. Again, in case anybody's joining while I'm in the middle of this atrocity, is I'm leaving this in here as a prompt for me to go back and change it when I start my documentation. Now, text stacking is its own thing. And what that should give us is the ability to tab complete the various options. I've been streaming for an hour and my coffee is solidly cold. I should probably get up 5 minutes earlier and finish the coffee before I start. Let me double check that. So, children, subgroup child, not required. The weight is an integer, not required, and text stacking is that specific object and not required. So, nothing there is mandatory. We've got our children, we've got our weight, and we've got our text stacking. Good. So, and this is technically a subgroup now that we're on the inside. I may have flubbed on the type there, because this should be adaptive subgroup. no capital G. So let's create our new subgroup. First, let's make sure that actually works. Cool. So we end up with an object, obviously. Currently no children, no weight, no text stacking. And I can't, no, I can just see it. But I like to run these objects through getMember. So pipe to getMember. Because what I'm looking for is this getSet next to their definitions. Because so what it means if it has the set there is then I can then go, say, adaptive subgroup, lowercase g, adaptive subgroup dot children dot weight equals value. Without the set, it means you have to do it inside your new. And I might even have, what's a good example of that? Probably misremembering how common the issue is, because it was a real pain when I was first realised this or learnt this. There we go. So these button objects. Oops, sorry. Let me. Alright, how's that? So these buttons, if I do the same with these, no, yeah, in this case I can't even create the object without adding anything to the constructor. Some of them allow you to create, in fact, if I pass a null, I wonder if that works. Awesome. So I'll take note of what the volume I've set the everything to, so that I don't have to guess next time around. Thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, there it is. So you'll see the arguments and content are both just get, there's no set on them. In this case, it doesn't even let you call new without supplying those in the constructor. Some of the notification objects allow you to create the object perfectly fine, but then you can't set these after the fact, which is a real pain. Anyway, that's my rant on that. But the good news is all adaptive subgroup properties can be set after creation, which is good. One thing I do want to check what I've done in the past is adding children. So I'm just going to borrow that, save a little bit of typing in the morning. So if we've got children, we go through each child and add it to the subgroup. It is still children, good. Children add child. Then we've got weight. And then we've got text stacking. That's hint weight. There. We'll worry about should process later. And then this is returning our subgroup. In theory, it's too early in the morning for me to commit to this statement, but in theory, this... I just derped for a moment and didn't realise I'd rechanged that function name. In theory, this should get us a valid adaptive subgroup. We create the object, we add the children. So now we need to be able to add those children to the toast content itself. So if we look at the schema, I guess not the schema, if we look at the toast content docs, under binding generic, under children, right. Alright, that's it. Yeah. I wonder if I've still got that previous toast in memory. I don't have an XML formatter. Sure. Oh. What about that one? That's better. So this is the XML that's sitting behind that, the music ticker notification. So if we pull up that doc again, we can see it's sitting under the binding. So it's at the same level as my text and images, meaning that it's a child on my binding. Damn, that might mean... So, what I'm running through in my head at the moment is that's on the binding. So we can pass in our adaptive group to as a generic child. What we can't do is send our subgroups directly as a child on the binding. It's got to be wound up. Both subgroups have to be bound up into a adaptive group object first. My original plan was just to have say a columns or a adaptive group parameter on whatever it needs, and we'll create it automatically. So what we could do is we either expose new group as new group, which groups together subgroups. We could have that as a function, but the only thing that adaptive group takes is its subgroups. So I sort of wanted to avoid that because there's no value really in having to create that manually. And I wish I'd come to that realization 5 years ago when I first started BurntToast. Because if I could do a bunch of breaking changes, I would probably make things a hell of a lot simpler today. Tangent aside, what I could do is some way of generating this manually so that you can pass it directly into children, or we add another parameter specifically for groups. Then in the code, if there are the groups in here, we would then create our adaptive group and append it to my list of children. Pretty sure that's the way to go. So I'm going to keep it nice and close to that. Now what do I call it? Well, given I've called it new BT column, I'll call this column. And the output of the output of that was a adaptive subgroup. That mimics the output type good. My kid's room is right through that wall. She just got up, but it's too early for cartoons, Ella. Okay, we might end up hearing some cartoons in the background. Right, I'll put a note. So we can add an array of subgroups to the column. Then if we have a column, right, we create the adaptive group equals whatever that is, and then for each group and column, we add it to the adaptive group. And then finally, we add our adaptive group. So, that one there. Adaptive group. Let's see what we get on that. We have children, but I can't see the definition. I'm going to assume that it works exactly the same as the binding children. So we'll go like this. Why add typing? Right. So if we specify a column, we create an adaptive group, not adaptive subgroup, good. Then we go through each of our columns, add that as one of the children on our adaptive group, and then we add the adaptive group to our binding. If I'm not mistaken, that will work now. And I bet my voice doesn't sound convincing on that front. Let's try it. I'm going to mimic the one that's in the... What am I saying? I'm going to mimic the toast that's in the docs. This PowerShell, and let me grab where did I? So apparently saving a file doesn't count as having it recently opened. Live stream. Music toaster, now playing. So I'm going to grab this and drop it into here. Just so I don't need to recreate a toast from scratch. So we don't actually need that anymore. We've still got our app logo path. We don't need an image at the moment. Just to show we still can, let's put a alarm on this. I want to make sure that's still working. Now, in this example, there was 3 text. New BT text. That would be text, not test. Text 1, 2, 3. Then there was also text in each group. So there was group 1 text 1. 2, 2. And that was Surface Launch Party Studio S / Ballroom. Sounds fun. And that was 4 PM 10-26. Not that I understand what this date format is. In fact, for my own sanity. There we go. Then there was 52 attendees. There was a 23-minute drive. There was the address of 1 Microsoft Way. Bellevue, WA 98008. So there are some more things that I need to change about that, which we'll get to. I just want to make sure that it works as is first. So we've got our adaptive group 1 and our adapter. In fact, let's use the naming convention we've settled on. Column 1 equals that, and column 2. Annabelle, can you turn off R2D2? But it'll wake up your system. Then we've got a second column. Group 2 and Group 2. So we've got text 1, text 2, text 3. And then we've got, what do they call it, column. That should, once we've imported the updated module, show us our groups. Wait, first we're going to need to make it so that no, that'll be fine. We need to actually be able to use the function. That'll help. And looks like we've got that in our session. So if I run this, well, the group worked. I put in the wrong thing for the sound there, but that is awesome. Those are our adaptive groups. Now, need to fix the sound. in here. It is source, and we want, yeah, sure, let's go with alarm 2. Before I do anything else, let's make sure that bit worked. Cool. Just realised it didn't mute or dim the sound of the music because it's while I'm using the alarm sound. I didn't set the scenario to alarm, which cool. So those things that needed to be done here, various styles on those elements. So the attendees was a base style, then caption subtle, as with everything else, and the two on the right were right aligned. So we should be able to say style base, style caption subtle. In these two, way missed the mark there. These two. Also have an align. And we align these right. This time, interesting. So you'll notice there's some curly braces there. That means there's a new. Well, first of all, the bold worked. The caption subtle worked. The align worked. But you'll notice the curly braces. These are actually everywhere in the toast. They enable data binding, but it means there's a case for that in the XML that I haven't cleaned up. Probably because I've never done it before. Right. And the way we find that out is we go, hey, content one, show me your content. That gives me the XML, and I will take that and put it in here. Format document. So, we did successfully remove this. We didn't successfully remove that. So we'll leave that open and go to split. So in here somewhere. Oh, that's an interesting problem. So what I'm doing to clean up those curly braces is I'm looking for specific patterns. So the reason why the end one got cleaned up is because it's curly brace followed by end text, which I replaced with just end text. Same with a bunch of these other ones where we've got things like that just ending up how they should end up. Obviously, and the start of the text was previously just text because that solves another issue on the repo. Someone was saying when they add a style, even though it doesn't do anything, they were getting curly braces. And this will be why, because that's in there. So what we could do is change to the regex version of replace. Huh. So the reason why I paused there is that would actually work. I would need to remind myself how to do a specific type of capture. Let's give it a try without looking it up. So we change it from dot replace to dash replace, and then get rid of those brackets. So that's step one. Then in this capture group, I want anything. Any number of times. And then when we replace, we add it back in. Is that all I need? I don't trust it. So I'm going to run it anyway. First we need to re-import. Duh, that's not going to do anything. This will do. Did I even end up with the content there? Yeah, nothing worked there. Yeah, that'll mean that my regex isn't working, which is entirely expected. So let's try something. Let's grab that and paste it into here. Cool. And then we grab this. Yeah, that would do it, wouldn't it? How do I make it lazy? Do I put that in there? Aha. So I wonder then if just adding that is going to be enough. Also, the replacement there is the other thing that's potentially wrong. And because I have memory like a sieve, I'm going to refer, and this is the reason why I blog as well, because I remember writing something on a topic, so I can go back and refer to it and remember what the hell I did. So, capturing groups. Yeah, $1, $2, $3 in single brackets. To my eye, that should work, and if it doesn't, I don't know why. There we go. Beautiful. None of our normal text things have curly braces anywhere. Our subgroup's working. Cool. So there's one more thing. So actually, no, before I do one more thing, right, and I still need to sort out documentation and all that guff. What I want to do now that we've got those working, is I think we can make our music ticker a little bit nicer. And also try putting in fact perfect timing. Why are you still on the screen? Oh, because I had that other thing on screen and it queued up. Sure, that makes sense. So I know we can put images into these groups. So what I'm thinking is we go something like, we only have the header, and then we put everything else, the album artwork and the information about it, into a adaptive group. So let's grab that. Let's put track up the top. Track was already up the top. So title, album. Oh, it's artist that I'm missing, right? And what I'm doing, sorry, I should probably talk this through a bit first, is I'm looking at doing, hoping to do 3 columns, a label, the information, and the album art. I'm not sure that that's all going to fit. If it doesn't, we'll drop off the labels and just go information and album art. So we've got the title, then the album info can go back to being this, because we will move the artist to this, and it was album info. Album info, good. Then we need the title, the album, and artist. I did that around the wrong way. That's the actual information above. And I'm not going to be able to leave that out of order, so there we go. So this is title. This is album. And this is artist. Then we've got the information, and then we've got the image that we've still had up here. In fact, I wonder if remove margin's one of those things that only work. Huh. I wonder if remove margin's never done anything for me because it only works in a adaptive group. And sorry about the chair, I normally mute before doing that. Right, so column 1, children is title label, album label, and of course album artist. Then column 2 is title, album, artist, and column 3, copy and paste, make this a bit quicker, there we go, is our toast image. That one I want to align center. In fact, I don't know. I'm assuming that the image is going to be bigger than the text. I'm assuming that the text is going to be bigger than the image. But it might not be. I'm going to leave this off now and we'll see what comes of it. Then in here we need to add our column. Column 1, column 2, and column 3. That should work. Haha. What did I do there? Oh, forgot the $sign again. So I did that during my demo for serverless days as well, which ended up adding a couple of minutes to my runtime when I was already cutting content. Interesting. I thought I had reset that. Okay, fine. Let's just go Nope, so something is very wrong. Let me check the action center real quick. Oh. I don't know why that's not showing. Do I get normal toast? I do get normal toast. Does... Let's just make sure... Okay, you go away. You're going to get in the way. Let's update my music info, album info, and run this. There we go. So, we've got our title, we've got our information, and the album just peeks in there. And it looks like the image there is potentially full size or the maximum height it can be. Whew, which is interesting. So I think what we can do there, let's try giving that column a weight and see what ends up happening with it. So we set that to 100, set this to 50, and set this to 1. I have no idea how the weight works. I guess you can go and I have no idea how that weight works, so I'm just picking random numbers, assuming that the higher number is a greater weight and therefore gets more priority. It was, and yeah, that album art is full size. So judging by this, if the album art actually showed, it would be all the way over here, if not off the screen to the left. So maybe the where is it? Maybe the toast image goes back to being a child of a normal child of the binding. We take that column away, and we give these some styles. So these ones can be base, they can be bold because they're labels. These ones can be subtitle, no, header subtle, no. Yeah, let's go with caption subtle. In fact, let's go with caption and see what that does. Got a whole new thing to play with now because these styles have never worked, so I've never actually seen what they do. Right, the weights. Let's make that a 5 and see how it changes things. Now, oh, that's an interesting problem. I wasn't able to get a toast this tall before, which means I need to adjust adjust my let's get that back up on screen so I can see it. I need to adjust this so that let's get that up again. Cool. Let's pick you up and put you back there. So what I have is I'm working on my middle monitor here, but when I'm streaming, my right hand monitor is my primary. Just to get rid of the taskbar and stuff like that. And I've got a little green screen area for where the toasts pop up, which allows me to do things like make the toast even bigger, considering they're sort of the focus of what I'm doing. But those groups made them taller than I've ever seen them before, so they went out of the little green region that I've specified for them. I might even need to just make that a hell of a lot taller, because in theory these groups can make things very big. And actually that distracted me so much that I didn't see what the styling and spacing looked like. That's alright. What if I go 5 for you and 7 for you? What does that do? I can definitely see myself not using the weights too often. And I wonder if there's better documentation about what relative numbers in there actually do. Yeah, that's just looking a little bit... There's something about that that just looks weird to my eye, so I'm going to get rid of the weights. Yeah, sure, that looks okay. Although, now there's a new problem. Those values don't line up. Because they are different font weights now. Huh. And, that's an interesting problem. Let's try this. We'll make you base subtle. And we'll make you base. That's definitely a hell of a lot better. Alright, so with... Actually, before... Yep, new track, cool. This is in that. I will commit that. let's leave that there. Cool. So with that, I can hear my youngest starting to wake up. So we've had a good 2 hours. Got 1, the music ticker working. 2, implemented adaptive groups, which now is a really cool way of showing additional information in that. And then change the music ticker to use them, which I actually like the look of quite a lot. So that's going to be the end of the stream. I am probably going to stream this time again next weekend. Don't know what I'll be doing, but keep an eye on Twitter. Yeah, and thanks for tuning in. Have a good weekend.